Hello, welcome back. I'm Andreas, your tech-curious web designer. In this video, we will have a look how we can customize a tenant site, changing, for example, the color of the navigation bar or upload a logo. We will also see how we can create a custom file storage to keep tenant files separated. If you like this content, give this video a thumbs up, add a comment and subscribe to this channel, as this will help with the YouTube algorithm and help my channel grow. And if you consider supporting me, you can do so on Patreon or on buymeacoffee.com. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you. Okay, and now without further ado, let's dive in. In the last video, we created a coffee shop tenant. Let's continue now by customizing the site. First, let's change the color of the navigation bar here. And for this, I'm installing a package called Django ColorField, which lets me easily select a color in the backend. With pip install django-colorfield. And then we also have to add this app to our shared apps. So I go to the core folder, to settings.py, to my shared apps configuration, as this is a global app and not tenant specific. And I add here ColorField. Okay, save this file. And now let's create a table in the database. I go to my main app, which is a_home. And here I go to models.py. And add here a new model class to customize the site. I call this table site setting. So first I add here a name property. And then I add here the color property, where we can select the color for the navigation bar using this ColorField class. Let's import this class. From colorfield.fields, import ColorField. And I represent this object in the database with the name property. Okay, save this file. Next, let's register this table in the admin interface. So I'm going to admin.py and register site setting. Then we can do the migrations. Python manage.py make migrations. And to migrate, we can write Python manage.py migrate or migrate_schemas. With this command, we can add more options to the migration command, such as --shared, which applies the migration only to the shared or public schema, --tenant, which applies the migration only to the tenant schemas. With --schema equals then the tenant name, we migrate to a specific schema. And with --executor equals parallel, for example, we can run tenant migration in parallel to speed up the migration if we have many tenants. Okay. It added this table now to my public schema and my coffee shop schema. Okay, and then I start up the server again with Python manage.py run server. Alright, now that we added the table to the database, we can add a color. I go to my admin interface, /admin, here to site settings. Then I create a new site setting. I call it branding. And here I can choose a color. Or directly in the color input field. I choose this Starbucks green. And then I click Save. Okay. Now, in order for this color to show up in the navigation bar, we need to fetch it from the database and pass it to the template. We could do this through a page view, but as we might have many pages, this would not be efficient. Therefore, it is much better to create a separate view for the header and load it in to the page using a custom template tag. Okay, let's do that now. So in my home folder here, I create a new folder with the name template tags. And in this folder, we add now the init.py file. This file makes this folder a package, and Django is aware of the contents. We keep this file blank. And then we create a file to add the custom template tag, and I call this file header.py. The code to create this header tag you can grab from my GitHub repository. Here we click on header.py and copy the code. Here we initialize a new library instance to register our new template tag. Then here we have a decorator which uses the inclusion tag function to specify what template we want to use, and we want to pass data to the header.html file. Then I create here the header view, and we will pass to this view the request object so the header knows who the logged in user is. Then we retrieve the first object from the site setting table. This is where we define the color. Then if the branding object exists, I want to get the value of the color property. Otherwise, color is none. And then I add the request and the color object to the context and pass the context to the template. So with this template tag, our header is now its own module on the page with its own data context. Okay, save this file. And now we add this header tag to the template. So I'm going to templates, base.html, and here at the very bottom we included the header element. So instead of including the header file like this, I load the header. So this will load the header.py file. And then I'm calling here the header view function, which includes also the code for the template, and pass through the request object as an argument. Okay, save this file. And now we need to restart the server so Django can load this template tag. So I shut down the server and restart it again. Alright. And now we modify the header.html file to show the color. So let's go to the includes folder, header.html. Right now we have this gray class as our background color, but I can override it if a color is set in the backend. So if color exists, we add here a style attribute defining the background color. And here we include the color variable. And then we close it with endif. Okay, let's save this file and let's check it out. I refresh the page. And as we can see, our header background is green now. Nice.
Nice.
Now let's upload a logo for the site. For this I define first a new property in our database table. In my home folder I go to the models.py file and add here this logo attribute, which is using the image field class, and I upload it to the logo folder with null and blank set to true. Okay, save this file. Let's do the migrations. And migrate. And start up the server again. Next we include it in our view. So I'm going to the template tags, header.py. So if you have a branding object, I want to fetch the value for the logo. Or set logo to none if it doesn't exist. And then we add it also to the context. Okay, save this file. And finally, we update the header.html file. So here I'm displaying a static logo. Let's add the condition now. So if there is a logo, display the logo.url. This gives me the full path where the logo is saved. else display the static image. And we close it with endif. Okay, save this file. And now let's upload the logo. So I'm going to my admin interface, site settings, then branding, choose a logo and save. And then let's check out the site. And there we go. The new logo is displayed. Now let's look into the storage of media files, because right now all the files will be uploaded to the same folder, but ideally we want to separate the files by tenant. So if you go to our media folder here, we can see that the coffee icon was saved to the main logo folder. But this is far from ideal. We should aim to keep the tenant's media files separated as well. And for this we can use the file storage which comes with the Django-Tenants package. So we go to our settings.py file, and where we define the media root, I will add first the default storage configuration. So by default, the media files are handled using the file system storage. If we want the files be stored in a specific tenant folder, we can use the tenant file system storage. This tenant file system storage is coming from the Django-Tenants package. Okay, save this file and let's check it out. If I refresh the page now, this logo link here is now broken because it is looking for the logo file stored inside the tenant folder, in this case the coffee shop folder. So let's upload it again. And now the link works. Let's have a look in the backend. So we go to the media folder, and as we can see, it created this coffee shop folder. And inside this folder, we have a logo folder with the coffee icon. Now this works nicely for newly created tenants, but if we have already the main application set up and running with real users, this could be a problem, as the file system assumes all the files of the main application to be stored in a public folder. So if we check the main application, we see our avatar link is broken. Now one option is to create a public folder and move all the already existing media files in there. However, we could also switch the storage depending on the schema the site is using. Let's see how this works. So for this I'm creating now a custom storage class, which selects the correct storage depending on the schema. So I'm going to my main application, so a_home, and create a new file, storage.py. And again, you can take the code for this file from my GitHub repository. So here we go to storage.py and copy the code. I created here this custom schema storage class, and first I define here the getStorage backend method. So an underscore in front of a function or method is a common convention in Django to indicate that this is an internal or private function. We will use this function only in this class to call the correct storage. Then first we retrieve the schema we are using with connection.schema name. Then if the schema name is public, we use the default file system storage. Else, if we have a tenant, we use the tenant file system storage. And then we need to define certain utility methods for our custom storage to ensure the correct storage backend is used for each request. First, we have here the save method, which calls the getStorage backend function, and then we call the save method on it. Then we have the URL method to generate the correct URL for the file. The generateFileName method generates a file name which is unique if there are duplicates. And the delete method is needed for the cleanup package to delete old files which are not more in use. Alright, let's save this file. And now in my settings.py file, I select this custom schema class for my storage. So a_home.storage.custom schema storage. Save this file. So with this configuration, Django saves the media file for the main application in the media root folder and the files for the tenants in a folder with the schema name. I refresh the page. And as we can see, the avatar of the main application is showing up again. Now, let's say we have many tenants and also more folders for media files. This could get again very messy. So I would like to move all the tenant folders in a separate folder. So first let's remove the coffee shop folder and also the logo folder. And then under media root, I add this multi-tenant relative media root configuration. So here I define where I want my tenant files to be stored, so in a tenants folder, and the %S represents the schema name. Okay, save this file. So I refresh the page. Everything still works here. Let's also upload a logo for this page. Okay, I uploaded this icon here. Let's check it in the backend. As we can see, it is saved in a logo folder. Now let's go to our coffee shop page and upload here the coffee shop logo. And we can see the logo is displayed again. Let's check the storage. And as we can see in our media folder, we have now a tenants folder. And inside this tenants folder, we have a coffee shop folder, logo folder, and then the file. Nice. Let's also upload the avatar for this page. Edit profile and upload an image. And now we also have an avatars folder within this tenants folder. Awesome. Okay, let's create a brand new tenant now with a different header color and logo. And then we check if the storage works correctly. Again, the command python manage.py create _tenant. My new tenant is a car dealer. It created now the car dealer schema and migrated all the tables. I set car dealer as my subdomain. Its primary I leave blank. And now the tenant is created. Next we add the admin for the database. So python manage.py create tenant superuser. We have now two schemas, coffee shop and car dealer. Then username, email and password. And the admin user is created. Okay, let's check out the site and customize it. So cardealer.localhost colon 8000. And the new tenant site is up and running. So first let's add some items. Ferrari, Tesla, and Audi. All right, let's log in. I'm using here the admin credentials. Then I'm uploading a profile avatar image. for Elon. And finally, we customize the site. I'm creating a new site settings object. Choose a color. Let's go with this red. And upload an icon. And save. And there is our new customized tenant site. Let's quickly inspect the media file system. So here in the media folder, we have the tenants folder, and inside we have now two folders, one for the car dealer and one for the coffee shop. And inside this folder, we have an avatars and a logo folder. Awesome. Alright, this is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. In the next and final video of this tutorial series, we will deploy this application to our web server and see how it works in production. I hope to see you there. Until then, stay curious, my friends, and bye bye for now.